Hello, hi, welcome to my channel and to this week's video. How are you? How has your week been? I hope it has been good. I am quite good, to be honest. I'm quite rested. And for this week's video, there is obviously something I want to talk about. I think you can see from the timestamp that I'm going to keep on talking for quite a while. But before I get into my topic, which is quite related, I would think, it isn't quite related, but it could be. I would like to give a little speech about what's currently going on in the world. There has been many hard situations and lots of suffering quite recently, in recent years, in more than recent years, maybe we can even say. And I want to start this video by stating that, well, I'm talking about things that are not my profession, but those topics I feel like are quite sensitive, and my job description is to keep people well and healthy, and in that regard I'm not that qualified to talk about politics, especially when they are unfolding literally right now. So what I can say about that, I can't tell you what to think, I can't tell you what to do, although probably having an opinion and stating that opinion about what's going on and thinking about people's well-being would seem like a good idea, at least in my opinion. So there is this message that I will get into later in the video about how to get informed in a healthy way. And I think that suggestion also goes for this situation, like these political topics as well. I would recommend you to get informed in a healthy way from credible sources and make up your opinion on your own terms. Obviously, try to be respectful and helpful in these dire situations, at least to say. So yeah, this is the opening of this video. It has been quite a start, but the situations that we're seeing that are unfolding right now kind of make it seem like this is required. And what I want to talk about this week is literally the culture of well-being, especially in recent years. So in recent years, I think it is quite obvious that the conversations around well-being has been more nuanced and are getting even more nuanced as we speak, as these conversations are especially getting deeper on mental health issues. And in this video I will be talking about how this can be beneficial, even though it seems like there are some downsides to this. So as a healthcare professional, I want to talk about this a little. The energy of this video is quite different, but we're gonna go with it. So this is the video, I suppose. So as much as I remember, because I'm not that old and I grew up basically with internet, and I can imagine the start of these conversations, especially around mental health, start around 2010s, 2013, 14, and how people were quite advocates about mental health, since it was a taboo to talk about before then, and it was affecting quite a lot of people. Well, it is still affecting quite a lot of people, as it is a quite hefty part of healthcare, mental health services. So this started in those years, and it has been going on ever since, and it has taken such a shape that now we don't just want to talk about it, we want to make some improvement on these topics as well, because what we saw in recent years unfold with this situation is that when such a topic gets center focus, then quite a lot of people start to have quite a lot of opinions about these things, and these things then affect even the terminology about these things. The opinions of the public affect the way that mental health system works, or health systems work, because we even saw some health systems change in recent years in regards to people's opinions on those systems. Because of these things, there are quite literally lots and lots and lots of opinions about these, and lots of people have lots to say about these things, about the importance of mental health and well-being in general. And I think, in my opinion, all of those are important, because even if those statements are not true, the ones that are made by the people, they paint a picture of the public opinion, and that is important in a way that we can then make some changes in regards to those opinions and statements, which could then help us to improve the systems and our communities and our support systems with each other, which would be quite helpful as a civilization for us to have with us, basically, to progress into somewhere quite comfortable and nice, which could be quite a refreshing change from the things that are going on right now. So one of the most important critique about this trend of mental health is that these conversations led people to have so many unsupervised opinions about mental health, and it then led people to diagnose each other and treat each other according to those diagnoses, which I don't think it is necessary for me to say isn't good, because diagnosing someone with something is quite a complex process, and it shouldn't be this easy for people to do. But it was needed to have those conversations, and having these conversations in public view, in public eye, would then, I think, in my opinion, lead us to such a place. But then comes the question how we can overcome this situation, because this is actually affecting the fabric of the culture and the way mental health systems work. Because if these diagnoses, or if these statements go around this freely and this unsupervised, then the meanings of these statements and diagnoses change, because language works in that way. Language evolves with humans, so then the definitions of these diagnoses and terms and statements go through a change as well, which then puts some obstacles in the mental health systems, because then it becomes hard for people to communicate professionally these statements or these situations, because the meanings of these statements change quite frequently at the end. Because that's, I think, what we saw. We saw how the terms anxiety and depression, or anxiety disorder, or even narcissist become more colloquial and more daily occurrences, and in mental health profession those terms are used in quite special occasions, and there are some other terms that could be used daily that can represent some traits that humans in general can have, and there are some terms that state some pathologies, and the terms that are used daily right now are actually terms that are used for pathologies. Then this creates a confusion in the system and in the communication between the mental health workers and the people, because the view people have on these terms are quite different from the views that mental health professionals have. Someone could think that they have a depression, they would go and see a mental health professional, and the mental health professional would tell them that they don't have depression, they're not going through a depression. Then that would create a confusion, because that person is going through something. It could not be depression, it could be some milder form of depression, which is called something else, and there is a miscommunication there, or the person is not qualified, so they could see something and would think that it is the thing that they best know, which could be depression or anxiety or even being a narcissist, and then they would stick that term on that situation. But there are more things and more layers to mental health than that. There could be some patterns, there could be some behaviors or some moods, some thoughts, some emotions that could explain that situation better than the word depression. For example, we're going on with depression, but that's the example that I have right now. So I hope that made sense in regards of this situation affecting the process of people getting help in these situations. And also with these conversations comes the people that think that mental health isn't that important whatsoever to have these conversations about. So it is quite ironic, because the conversations started to take place to overcome mental health being a taboo, and these people still kind of advocate that mental health should be a taboo, and they're not advocating that it should be a taboo, but they think that it isn't important to have these many conversations as well. But then some people have different experiences with mental health or health in general, so in that regard people can or people should be able to voice their concerns and their experiences, and sharing experiences overall in psychological or mental health terms or statements is proven to help overall the well-being of humans. So having these conversations scientifically seems to help our lives. So in that regard, that downside is also something that we should work on and overcome. There could be many things that could be done in that regard. For example, trying to tell people, or trying to run campaigns to tell people that sharing hard situations or talking about hard topics is helpful for us and is welcome in our communities. This is just an example of solution. These things could also help us solve these issues as well. There could be even more conversations or arguments listed more than these two. It could be also said that mental health should be on the hands of the professionals only, and it shouldn't be talked about by anyone else, which in my opinion isn't that smart. Thinking that some situations are too talked about so that they can be overcome. For example, people's view on themselves and on their lives if you know what I mean, and how their life should go or end, and how we can help people that have bad views on their lives and their life journey, and with people that think they shouldn't live any longer than they are. If you know what I mean, if you get what I mean. I'm trying to be YouTube friendly right now. So there are some those dark and hard topics that we should also talk about. So in that regard, even though it could be harmful to the terminology, those things should be talked about. So maybe in that regard as well, we can run general health campaigns or general mental health campaigns to help people to be more literate with mental health terms, so that they can use the appropriate statements. Like we see with general health, people usually understand what's going on with them, and we see that they can express their situation or circumstances quite well. So I think we can work towards something that leads us to a similar place with mental health as well. But these things aside, I think you can also see, I think from what I'm saying, I think that having these conversations are quite beneficial, because it then helps us and helps people, helps all of us to have some access to mental health resources. Those resources might be something quite small, or something that we see on Instagram, or it could be a book that we see. And yes, we can have problems with misinformation on these things as well, but then having these resources can help us move some way, or help us do something at least. Yes, we can do the wrong thing and get hurt, and in that situation, then we should put our analytical thinking in place to help us decide what information we should find credible and what information we should avoid. The key to getting mental health information is being careful, is what I'm trying to say, because those informations are important for us, and it is important that those informations are true and correct and are supervised, and that is something that we can understand and we can take action on. Because then if we can get to such a place, which was my experience, because I have a diploma on health quite literally, and I can find information that I can go through and assess the credibility, then I can put those informations on action. And I saw in my life that following these informations are quite beneficial in people's lives, as they can help us to deal with stress. They can help us to get to become satisfied with our lives. They can help us build meaningful relationships and connections, as this spotlight on mental health and well-being is causing these positive outcomes. I think it is important for us to have these conversations, and it is also important for us to be able to have these conversations and understand these conversations, so that we can apply these informations in our lives and get through our lives with more resilience and satisfaction and more comfort, basically. So basically what I'm trying to say is that we should have conversations about our well-being and mental health, and we should get ourselves equipped with the right information and right tools to have these conversations and apply these conversations to get the most benefit from these situations as we can. And this in general can be applied to health in general, as we have search engines and also quite recently AIs to help us with information. I think we still should be able to go through informations and make out what's wrong or what's right or what's feasible, so that we can have the most benefits of these informations. We are in the information age, but we should also be able to use these informations so that we have comfort in this age. The reason that I was so focused on mental health is because I feel like people have a general understanding of health in general. So mental health is quite a recent topic that caught public's attention and is going through the evolution of providing us the correct and feasible information. And because of that, I think we should have more conversations about our mental health as much as we can, so that we can understand those conversations. I think I said that 5 times in this video, but that was what I was trying to say. So yeah, that's it for this week's video. I hope you found it helpful. I wanted to make this video because some of the mental health content that I see online helped me quite a lot recently in my hard times, and I feel like they are quite precious for us to get to a better place. I also get therapy and professional help as well. I'm not unsupervised on those topics. Also, I have some education on mental health as well, so that in that way I'm quite lucky to understand those contents. But I feel like we can have some general ideas about these topics quite easily. I don't think having a general view on this is that hard, so I think we should also work on that a little, well, as if we don't have enough to work on, but we can work on this as well. Mental health is quite important for us, like health in general. If we're not comfortable, then we're not going to be satisfied quite as much. So yeah, that's it for this week's video. If you have anything to say, please let me know down in the comments, and if you liked the video, please let me know by clicking the like button, and you can subscribe to the channel, I couldn't speak there, to see more of my videos in the future, or you can check my old videos in my channel as well. And I hope to see you next week again. Until then, please take really good care of yourselves, and until then, bye bye.